New Roots Herbal has partnered with What She Said to open up discussions over the next few months around common health concerns for women. In today's interview, we're taking a closer look at the power of probiotics. Most of us know by now that probiotics should quickly follow any antibiotic treatment, but probiotics benefits extend far beyond that and are vital in keeping our microbiome healthy. What exactly does your microbiome control? For that answer and more on the benefits of probiotics in our life, I'm joined now by Dr. Darcy Pollock, a naturopathic doctor who has a special interest in diet and lifestyle counseling, botanicals, acupuncture, and nutritional supplementation. Welcome to What She Said, Darcy.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's get into it. What's the microbiome?
So, the microbiome is basically our gut bacteria, and our gut bacteria house about 70 to 80% of our immune system. So, when we think of the gut microbiome, we're just thinking of all of our immunity. And it's pretty awesome because what can happen is our gut microbes can basically produce substances that inhibit pathogen production. So that's the biggest part of our immune system. And that's why probiotics help so much with colds and flus. And with the gut microbiome, we also think of the digestive tract as our second brain because the most serotonin is produced there in the body. So we know that serotonin is a happy neurotransmitter, and that can really help with moods. And then on top of that, the microbiome also helps with the regulation of estrogen in our body, as well as cardiometabolic conditions, of course, digestion, so many different functions.
So it's not just, antibiotics rip out these good bacteria and we put them back in. It's crucial all of the time to have this healthy gut flora for a variety of reasons. So it's brain health. How about heart health?
Yes, so new studies are looking at the effects on our cardiovascular system, which is incredible. We're seeing lowering of cholesterol with probiotics, lowering of blood pressure with probiotics. We're also even seeing weight loss with probiotics, especially mid abdominal weight. So it's really interesting. Some thyroid conditions are being studied for benefit with probiotics as well.
And for women specifically, can we talk about the importance of probiotics for women?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, the gut bacteria will help regulate the amount of estrogen that's around in the body. So, what can happen is if the gut is dysbiotic, meaning there's too much good versus bad bacteria, or there's not a diversity in the gut bacteria, we can end up having estrogen either floating around in too high amounts in the system or not being detoxed properly out of the digestive tract. So, when I think of estrogen dominant symptoms and symptoms that may benefit from probiotic supplementation, I'm thinking of irregular cycles or heavy cycles, acne, bloating, PMS, weight gain, those kinds of things.
So this is huge. I mean, on top of taking, vitamin D daily and, our vitamin C, probiotics should really be a daily thing.
That's right. Yes, it's one of my most commonly prescribed supplements in my practice. And, we always want to make sure we're getting the right dosing of probiotics. Usually, I recommend about 10 to 20 billion daily. And I will sometimes go up higher in the 50 billion if needed. And that would be more after antibiotic use, but sometimes for some other conditions as well.
And are there natural ways to get more probiotics into our system?
Yes, absolutely. So, really, when I think about getting just probiotics in our system, I think of just a really healthy diet. So, whole foods, meaning that we're not eating too many processed things. We're cooking most of our food from scratch in our kitchens. And really specifically, I like to add in chia seeds or hemp hearts or any of those whole grains like oats, brown rice. And then on top of that, fermented foods, meaning foods that have live bacteria coming in. So those would be like kombucha, yogurt, sauerkraut, miso, tempeh. And the really important thing about these foods is they are not pasteurized. As soon as we pasteurize them, we're killing those live bacteria.
Okay, that's good to know. And also, I just want to say, as soon as you mentioned really healthy diet, I know you excluded a whole bunch of the population, including myself. Uh, so let's talk about the importance of supplementation then. What should we be looking for in that supplement?
So, like I mentioned, 10, the dosing is key. So 10 to 20 billion, sometimes 50 billion. And you want to have a probiotic that is multi-strain. So that means there's at least 7 to 10 different strains of probiotics within that one supplement. We also want to look for a probiotic that is in the fridge. So if the probiotic is not in the fridge, what can happen is that the bifidobacteria break down. They're not very shelf stable. So you will see some probiotics that are on the shelf, but what happens is they just put a ton more colony forming units or CFUs in there. And then by the time it gets to you, there's probably very little or none. So the most important thing is definitely look for probiotics in the fridge.
And should they, how do we get them? Are they in a pill form? Are they liquid?
Yeah, so probiotics, typically you want to have them in a capsule and you want that capsule to be enteric coated. So enteric coating basically means that that capsule is able to withstand stomach acid. We know that about basically food, it takes about 30 to 60 minutes for food to transition from the stomach into the small intestine. So we need a probiotic capsule that can withstand that pH of 1 to 3, which is in the stomach. And we want that probiotic to be released in the digestive tract, which is a pH of about 5. So if we don't have enteric coating, it's just all going to be destroyed in the stomach, and you're not going to get that live bacteria to the digestive tract where it's going to have the response you want.
So what is enteric coating? What is it made of? Like, is it, that it dissolves into our system? I'm going to assume it's safe, but what is it made of?
Yeah, so some enteric coatings are made of plastic, so you definitely want to steer clear of those ones. The best ones are usually made of plant fibers, and those are really the cleanest of them. You don't really want to be ingesting plastic, obviously.
I'm surprised actually to hear that we even allow that. I'm shocked.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Sometimes supplements aren't regulated as well as they could be.
Okay, so let's talk about that then. So we walk into a store and here's what we're looking for. We're looking for probiotics in the fridge, right?
Yeah.
10 to 20 billion
Yeah.
of bacteria. Is that what I'm saying? That right?
Yeah, 10 to 20 billion bacterial. That'll be the dose of it.
Okay. And we want them to be enteric coated, but with a natural enteric coating, not a plastic coating.
That's right. And even better, I'd say a bonus for my requirement of probiotics is to have them third party tested or lab tested properly. And that means that basically they're tested in a way that what's in that capsule is what is in the capsule, not that it's going to be lost once it's taken, right? So that kind of extra testing just is next level. And then you know what you're putting in your body is going to actually have the effect you're wanting to see.
Okay, this was incredibly informative. I mean, I have probiotics in my fridge upstairs, and I have to tell you, I kind of haven't really been very diligent with them. But now that we're heading into winter, and I think I'm going to definitely be adding this with my daily. If people want to connect with you, Darcy, where can they find you?
My main clinic is in Kimberley, British Columbia. I'm called Roots to Health Naturopathic Clinic. So you can just give us a Google. We've got a Facebook and an Instagram.
Okay, wonderful. And so if people want to know more about obviously probiotics, they can go to newrootsherbal.com and they have all of their probiotics listed there. And I can tell you that their enteric coating is natural. I know that for sure. So go check it out. Darcy, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.